Okay, guys, to pick up where we left off, we were talking about eating in space. When I reviewed the last video, I just cannot get the sound to work on these videos when I record my lessons, so make sure you go back and watch them, okay? So, exercising in space. Exercise is an important part of the daily routine for astronauts aboard the station to prevent bone and muscle loss. On average, astronauts exercise 2 hours per day. The equipment they use is different than what we use on Earth. Lifting 200 pounds on Earth may be a lot of work, but lifting that same object in space would be much easier. Because of microgravity, it would weigh much less than 200 pounds there. So that means exercise equipment needs to be specially designed for use in space so astronauts will receive the workout needed. So, how does space affect the human body? The impacts on microgravity, living in space, are very similar to what happens when you age. Let's talk about blood health. Your blood cell production in the bone marrow is affected. It reduces blood cells, reduced blood cells can cause anemia. Low white blood cell count leave the body vulnerable to infections and are linked to an increased sensitivity to radiation. Radiation doses are much higher. Overexposure can cause cataracts in the eye, which is clouding of the eye's natural lens, damage to your DNA, and increase the risk of some cancers. The brain. Astronauts' sense of perception and orientation can become confused. Some even experience space sickness, kind of like if you're on a boat or if you're flying. Some people get sick and have a sensitivity to that. That happens in space as well. The heart and blood vessels. Blood vessels stiffen and age faster, and astronauts can develop insulin resistance, high levels of glucose in the blood, which may lead to type 2 diabetes. These factors increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, which is heart disease. The muscle nervous system. Muscles can lose mass and strength. Reflexes slow down, and exercise tends to be less effective in space. Your bones. When they don't bear weight, bones will lose density and strength. An astronaut in space can lose up to 1.5% of their bone mass each month. So think about that. If you're in space for 6 months, that is a huge percentage of your bone mass you could be losing. And then we have what's called puffy head bird leg syndrome. Due to the lack of gravity in space, the extra gallon and a half of liquid that we carry on Earth to counteract gravity moves from our legs upward, like when you flip upside down. This creates a puffier head and thinner legs. Watch this link here. It'll talk about that. And then try it. So what you can do at home is measure all the way around your calf with like a measuring tape. And your calf is right below your knee, kind of like the thicker part of your leg below your knee. After you measure it, write that measurement down. Then go sit on the floor with your legs going up against the wall for 4 minutes. And then stand back up, and then quickly measure your calf again, and your numbers should be smaller. That's because all of the fluid has rushed to the upper part of your body and left your legs and feet, and they experience this in microgravity as well.